us, rolling to the crib. I would get dibs on the seat with my man OJ and rock beats from Lamert Park to 81st. When I got home, this was first. I plugged the headphones in, didn't catch the break. 14 with the system, I was like great on the turntables. I turned labels back and forth and put stop on the tape. Then down the street to 81st place, the kid with the fat face with the fat case for sale. $10 if you was known. I put the turntable down for the microphone. I used to sell mixtapes, but now I'm an MC. I got the rhymes and beats. I used to rock them tapes. I used to sell mixtapes, but now I'm an MC. I got the rhymes and beats. I used to rock them tapes. Back up at World on Wheels with the rap contest. I used to try and get mine, cause I thought I was fresh. Sound like LL LaShawn with my Roxanne rhyme. It might sound whack, but it was dope at the time. Then it progressed with styles up at iFresh. MCs like Ganja K and the rest. Post meter with the Paul's mixed cut. Rockin' Southwest College, tearing it up.
Oh yeah, yes. You recognize that song? Indeed, we have a great episode for you today with none other than Sach from the Nonce. Yes, Satchel Paige is with us. I recorded this episode in Los Angeles. You're listening to The House List. My name is Peter Agaston. I'm the host and producer of the show. Every episode is edited and engineered by CJ Stewart. This is a great chat with a great man. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not familiar with his group, The Nonce, and their debut album, and they're truly one and only album that's been out, World Ultimate. We talk a lot about it in this conversation. It came out in 1995 on American Recordings, Wild West Records, and we get into the making of it. But Sach he's done many projects since then, both as a soloist, and there's been some Nonce releases, compilations that have come out, but he's an absolutely incredible producer. The vibe that was created on the canvas that is World Ultimate is unparalleled, or at least in the context of the LA Underground, the Los Angeles Underground in the mid-90s, paired up against Free Self Fellowship, AC Alone, Abstract Rude, and Project Blowed, and of course the producer Fat Jack. Sach and the Nonce blend in seamlessly to that landscape, and I have been a gigantic fan of that album and that group since the very beginning, since Mixtapes, since it was called Them Tapes on the Project Blow compilation, and then of course the video and Bus Stops, the follow-up single to that. So we get into it. I'm not going to go too long. I know I kind of talk long on these intros, but this is a great conversation, and I'm glad to have shared it. I want to let you know though too, for fans of the Nonce that might not be hip to what Sach is up to right now. First, he does a radio show Saturday nights from 10 to 11 p.m. Pacific time on 2mexhologram.com. So it's LA to the Bay Radio at 2mex, the letter 2, MEX, hologram.com. Shout out to 2mex, the homie 2mex, as well as D-Ski and DJ Roach. And check that out. It's a Saturday night online radio show. Support that. Sach of the Nonce. But just this past year too, he released a great project called Fidelity on Hit and Run, that if you have the ability to find it and check it out. He came out in a couple different formations, a tape, a 10-inch, an instrumental version of it too, and I'm going to close the show out with a track from that. But so we get into that, we get into the group dynamic, and I recorded this in East LA at my friend Brandon's house. Some of you may know him if you're familiar, of course, with the Anticon label and the collective. He was an original founding member as the Pedestrian, and so I crashed with him for a few days during my trip to the West Coast, and he sat in, as well as a homie of Sach's too, who helped me coordinate this conversation. And I met him years ago, Sach that is. He actually came to one of my Culturama music video festivals that I did in Los Angeles at the Laemmle Theater. And I used to do that. I used to tour movie theaters and music festivals showing independent underground hip-hop music videos. If you can believe that. This is before YouTube. In the early 2000s, I actually would go and tour and show, as if it was a short film festival or an experimental film festival, I would show independent hip-hop music videos by directors from all over the world. And he came through with the homie Omid, aka OD, and they have a great album that they did together a few years back during that period of time called Suckers Hate Me, but then Sach Fifth Avenue was the record. So yes, so that's my I'm setting it up. If this is your first time listening though to the House List, please subscribe on iTunes. Check it out on SoundCloud. If you're on SoundCloud, repost it. If you're on Twitter, I'm at HouselessPod. So let's just get the word out. I'm doing these things for y'all, for the fans and for the heads and for the homies, my friends all over the globe that check this out. You know, we're in some kind of pretty tumultuous times, and to be able to come together, people from different backgrounds, people from different parts of the country, and just bond over conversations about music, that means a lot to me on a personal level. You know, fuck the bullshit, you know. And if you have problems with someone, you know, fuck all that shit. If, you know, to find common ground with another person, another human being, is a priceless thing. So it means a lot to me that the whole process of doing this episode. So I have my friend Brandon allowed me to stay at his house. Sach, who was busy for the days that I was there, was willing to come by, and we did this conversation at like 11 o'clock at night. I usually don't do these that late at night, but we made it work. And CJ, who's running around, he's doing his thing. Like, we don't do this. This is our day job. You know, we're all hustling, trying to survive. You know, artists, starving artists. You know what I'm saying? So a lot goes into these episodes. It's not like we all show up at a studio with an engineer and like we got like, you know, $1,000 microphones. The microphone I'm recording this intro in is the same microphone I did the interview with, or the conversation rather. So anyway, I want to just let you guys know I'm trying to give you a little bit of perspective on how the House List gets produced. So yes, and I thank you so much for giving me your time and for taking a little bit of time. And if you're a fan of Sach and his many solo records, if you're a fan of the Nonce, which I hope you are, and if for some reason you maybe have never heard that debut record, World Ultimate, I strongly advise you to check it out. So without further ado, let's get into my conversation with the one and only Satchel Paige, Sach, the Nonce, so on and so forth, recorded in Los Angeles on a late night in early summer, midsummer. Check it out, y'all. I hope you guys enjoy. Were you born and raised here in LA? You're a native of Los Angeles?
Yes.
Like, so what part of Los Angeles did you grow up in?
It's considered South Central, but I grew up on 81st and Vermont.
Nice.
So
Okay.
the actual area is called the Vermont Knolls.
Okay.
So that's where I'm from. I'm from the Vermont Knolls.
So when you were doing music, I think looking back at some of the stuff, because there's even records. Obviously, a lot of people have a great affinity to World Ultimate, and that record like really still resonates with people like to this day. So it's a point of like interest for a lot of fans and collectors and stuff like that. But there's music of yours that had come out like a little bit before that too, as far as like some of the earlier Nonce stuff. Now that obviously you must have probably been in high school or just out of high school at that time, right?
Yeah,
is that accurate?
I was in high school, and I think I was in the 11th grade. We got signed to Sedona. So I was actually at school, like on the label. I don't even tell nobody, you know, because it's just nobody would have, you know what I'm saying? It's like it would have been.
You're better off not telling.
Stop lying.
Right.
but I really did want to tell everybody, but it was just like, whatever. But
so what was Sedona? So this is obviously before Wild West.
Yeah, way before Wild West. So Sedona was this independent label, and so kind of what happened was me and my partner Yusef, we wanted to get signed. Like we were like we had the classic visions.
Sure.
We wanted to be on a record label. We wanted to put out records and all that. So
and that was like that was the direction that we aspired to at that time. Right?
Yeah, just like now, the way people would aspire to do the path that they're going now to get where we were on our path. So that's what we did. We were trying to find a label, and first we ran into this guy named Tony Haynes.
Okay.
All right, he's a songwriter. He wrote a lot of R&B songs, classic, I guess. Not say classic, but like
What would be? Do you remember? Like, what would be a go-to of his?
Let's see. I can't even recall.
Okay.
It's like some songs that you'd be like, damn, you wrote that song for real.
Okay.
So
he was an established songwriter.
Yeah, yeah. Like lots of songs. Like where he would show me the songs too. He would show me the songs, and I'd be like, oh, okay. Like I'm hearing that song sung on the radio, like that. So, anyway. He was songwriter. He wanted to sign us like as artists to him, and
okay, yeah.
So what was crazy, like we already it was the 80s, but we heard horror stories about contracts and different things like that. So we had a horror story contract, like it was like before any changes are made, like it's like, oh, don't sign that.
Really? So
I'm all happy I got a contract though, like not that I signed it, but I had a contract, and like I took it to my mom and was like, look, Mom, I got a contract.
Right.
And
you're one step closer.
Yeah, and she saw really, she supported me, both my parents supported me doing my art, but she saw that and was like, okay, you're really trying to do this, and you seem like you can do this, so let me try to help. So she hooked us up with a lawyer. So she got an entertainment lawyer, and the entertainment lawyer looked over the contract and was like, no, change this. Took the contract and wanted these changes, and wasn't willing to make those changes, so we just parted ways. No nothing or whatever, but it felt good. It felt like, okay, like this I kind of see in here a little bit something.
Yeah.
And the next thing that happened, from that lawyer, we got connected with Sedona. And they offered us. It wasn't like offering money. It was more like offering the opportunity to make records. You know what I'm saying? Right. It was a little bit of change.
Had you guys done any like demos or anything like that at that point? Had you even just messed around? I mean, you're obviously like have the idea of being a group at this point, right?
Yeah, we were a group. We were a group.
Was it the Nonce or was it something else?
No, we were the Nonce. We were the Nonce since the beginning. Like since we first started like making music. Like first we didn't have a name really.
Sure.
And we wrote a song called the Nonce Song. And Tony, like that's who we were dealing with. He was like taking the tape around and stuff, and he would call us the Nonce Brothers or something like that, right? Like the Jungle Brothers or something like that. But it wasn't like he didn't even know who the Jungle Brothers were. Right. You know what I'm saying? We knew who the Jungle Brothers were.
Yeah. But
he didn't. So when he was saying that, we was like, nah. But we feel you. He's really going the Nonce Brothers. Them brothers that them guys. Like So it was like it was like nah. It was like just the Nonce. Like it was just because he kept saying Nonce Brothers. It was like no.
So, but you had already come up with the name, though, yeah.
Well, the concept of the Nonce, like we had that, like because that's what writing our songs was about, was making up like new kind of slang words or making up a new phrase or something that means this and that and. That was the thing. I mean, that's what we thought the thing was. So,
How did you land on that? Do you remember?
Yeah, listening to De La Soul, and, Jungle Brothers, and Tribe, but mostly, I guess, with the wanting to create like our own slangs and things like that was something that, like, personally, me and Yusuf did on our own, in a sense. Like, we always, styles and clothes and different things like that, try to set new little styles or whatever. But that, like, listening to them, it was like, oh, you can make up a new slang,
right,
and it'll be fresh if you can make it fresh. If you can do, like, it's not just anything on go. You have to actually be creative with it.
Right.
But we had that total understanding. So, like, when you listen to any of our older stuff, we are highly, highly, highly influenced by them. So the reason maybe why people have a certain feeling for World Ultimate is because we were first highly influenced by all these elements, and it was just coming out our pores, like we was trying to be them or something. And then some people on the outside can see, like, okay, y'all gonna do something, like, you're just not there yet. You still, you can't, like, sometimes you can't just be the person you are. It takes, like, stuff to build up on, and then it gets all shuffled up, and then it's like, boom, there you go. Then now you
got to live life a little bit. You need some context and perspective, of course.
So that's what World Ultimate was. That was our first, like, shuffle, and, like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. We already know how to do, like, we done been in the studio, like, we're, like, it was like a coming to age, even though nobody knew we came to age. It was like the first time anybody had heard us, but we, did a lot of things before.
Yeah, so what was that like? What was that before? Like, we never going back to that first deal. I mean, obviously, that's like maybe the trial and error of the.
Like, that seemed to be like our mode of operation. Somehow we make all this music, like, and it never come out. Like, we make albums, like I'll release things, and I'm like, I can't believe they didn't put that out. Like, I'm still puzzled sometimes. I'll be like, damn, they didn't just keep putting it out. So I don't know what the reason was, or maybe it just wasn't meant to be, like, like the way, like, some things just meant to come a certain way.
Right.
But, so we would make a record, and the label would just be like, now we want y'all to go back in, like, and record some, like, next 3 months. So we was happy to do that. We just had more shit, more music, but nothing was ever coming out. And it'd be like, what the hell, after a minute. And then, we got to Wild West, and it happened a little bit at the beginning. Like, so we recorded a whole bunch. We recorded, like, at least 2 records.
Really?
Yeah, before World Ultimate. I mean, that much music.
Right.
At least 2 albums full worth of music before World Ultimate. So we already had a good understanding of, this is like when Tribe meets Dr. Dre or something like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I say that because not like that's not my critique of it, but that's a lot of times people say that's what they hear.
Really? That's not how. Yeah, I don't identify it that way, but I mean, I can see that. Yeah, right.
And it's like, I'm like, it's a bomb compliment, Like,
absolutely.
I'm like, I get it, but and also at several moments in the recording, I'm sure I thought, I want this bumping like Dre, and all of those. Like, I want this beat dope like a Tribe beat. Not like I'm gonna make it a Tribe beat, but I want it to, sit well next to anything that I like, and that's what it did. And,
like, in the context of this stuff from LA that was coming out at that time, I mean, it falls into a pretty, diverse, like, tapestry of artists. I mean, even around, like, like in the of your contemporaries of that time, like in LA, amongst, you know, from the Good Life into the Project Blow, like the music that you guys were doing was it had its own identity, its own sound for sure. When you compare it to, say, like, you know, the even the Project Blow, like the compilation, because that's essentially the first time that came out. Did that come out before the album? Because Mixtapes was on that comp, right? Like,
yeah, okay, well, the album was pretty much done.
okay,
I mean, you know, we were recording it. But Mixtapes came about because AC Alone came over and was well, he was on his way over, and he was like, come through, and here's some beats, we have a session or whatever. And I didn't have nothing new to play. I had like no new song, no nothing, like, you know, no nothing to play. Like, this AC Alone coming by. what am I gonna play? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna be like, hey, what's up? I don't have nothing to put on that you haven't heard already.
yeah, I want to just hang. I don't have any new music.
Yeah, nah. So he's on his way. He lived, you know, like not too far away, maybe, you know, 15 minutes away. So I made Mixtapes beat like that fast. I was like, just grabbed a couple records, and, you know, that's how we make beats.
On his way to
Yeah,
the house.
On his way to the house, and so I made the beat, fucking wrote it. Then I was like, okay. I mean, let's say it took 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
I made it. I wrote it. It's only 2 little verses, but
Right.
I felt that shit. I felt it, like, right, like it was like it just came out. So he got there, and he was like, "What you got?" And I was like, "You know, I got this." You know what I'm saying? I got this right
Right.
here. I just made it. Literally, just push stop, you know, and played it. And he was like, I got this project I'm trying to do. I want to use that. And I was like, hey, it's like, use it. Take it. I just made it. It wasn't anything. It was just like, yeah, sure.
Right.
Okay. So I give him a copy of it. A couple months pass by. He brings me a demo of Project Blow. And I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. Right. I swear, I just got it in my hand, right? I just got it in my hand. He leaves the house. Maybe like 20 minutes later, I get a call from the record label. Hey, what's this? What's this song? What's this song? Mixtapes you did? I was like, how the fuck you know I did this?
That was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. You know, but it was like, this is in the day when people passed tapes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, here, you got to get a copy of this, or like, it's the record labels just got a network, and they're just like, you know, like some stuff they like, oh, you gonna sign that? You gonna sign that? So Mixtapes got back around on my label because I wasn't like fed up with them yet. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I'm gonna be doing some shit on my own. Like, you know, like if I feel like doing it, you know, or not being like, I don't know if I could do this or if I could fuck that. I was like, yeah, here, take the song. Here, this is like that. And they were like, if they came at me like this, they were like, okay, we want to put it out, and we'll book the time right now. You can go in tonight and take as much time as you want and record it or whatever and do it. And I'm like, you know, see, it's like I'm like a junkie with that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we can go right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna record several songs. We're not gonna just record mixtapes. We're gonna record, you know, several songs if we just go in like that. So, and then I was like, okay, I'll do it. But I want this treatment all the time. I want to be able to go in whenever and do whatever. Like, I want to do it. Like, and it was like, okay. So, Mixtape greenlighted me to get to go record freely in the big studio. You know what I'm saying? We had this like cool session. Like, we recorded it. Well, I recorded it the first time.
So originally you recorded at home.
Yeah, I recorded at home. Yeah.
Was it called? It was. But originally you recorded it at home, right?
Yes.
And was it? If I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong though. But it was on Project Bloat. It was them tapes, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Was that a thing where they were like? It was a label thing where we got to change the titles. It was just different.
Nah, it didn't. I mean, some songs the title kind of float. It didn't have the like this is that title or this is. It was like what you gonna call it, like them tapes or whatever. It was like that was like I think them tapes is more like AC Alone's title.
That's his interpretation
of it. Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
I met AC through Mark the Murderer. So Mark the Murderer, he lived down the street from me, basically. Maybe like say if I lived on Marvin, and Mark lived on Crenshaw, so we were like maybe 10 minutes away or so, and we have sessions all the time. And before I met Mark, I knew Ganja K. And like Ganja and Fellowship, they're all crew. Of
course, yeah. So and then of course First Brigade. You must
First Brigade. And see, I knew like Ganja from a whole nother angle.
Really,
I knew him from iFresh when he was Pee Wee Jam. So
wow. So for people that might not register with folks, can you explain what that is?
Okay,
that group.
All right, so iFresh was this thing we used to do similar to how they do, like it was before Good Life and before Project Bloat. It was called iFresh. So it was going to be a movie, and we were all going to be performing in the movie, rapping, and Ben Caldwell put it on. And every Thursday we would go and we would practice performing, or like practicing our rhymes. It was like incredible.
Where did it take place exactly?
Same location.
Same location.
Same
okay.
location. That's why it's just like all of these things are just different manifestations of the same thing.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's very cool.
It is. And, so that's what iFresh was. We performed on the stage. He would film it, and it kind of gave us a way to be on stages and actually do the thing like for real, but in our own neighborhood and without actually being like on a label or doing something like that. Like you get the exposure to do that.
Did that ever come out, or did people ever get a chance to see it?
No, it never came out, but it became a thing. Like like iFresh to us was more like the get together that we had, and all of these ciphers that were like incredible, and like all of these people came out of this thing. Just like how Bloat, like like you'll be like, oh, like. They'll say like some people were out of Bloat, but they might have just came and performed one night or something.
Right.
Same thing. It was like.
So what years are we talking about? Because this is a few years before Bloat, right? Like
more for you. Okay, iFresh. I was still in high school, so I think I was in the 9th or 10th grade.
Wow. Okay.
Doing iFresh, and yeah, no, I was. 86, 87 was like iFresh, and then 88 I wasn't really doing iFresh no more. I was just in my own realm or whatever. All of those things, like Good Life happened a few blocks up north of where Bloat is, so it's like iFresh, Good Life, Project Bloat. That's like the triangle right there.
Sure. So you met Ganja K through iFresh.
Through iFresh, and then I met him again when I got signed to Wild West, because he was on Wild West.
Was he?
Yeah. For a minute, he got off of Wild West and to some other stuff.
Oh yeah, because I think at one time was he maybe on the Palace or
Yeah.
Because I will say this, not to digress at all or take a tangent. I do want to take 1 second to say this, that his album Harvest for the World is one of my greatest, my favorites of that era of the LA Underground. I don't know if you produce anything on that?
Yeah,
or?
I had a hand in a couple songs.
What songs did you do? Can you remember?
Damn. It's like I got
it's a while ago.
What was it called? We did like 3.
Oh, cool.
We did like 3.
Obviously, it never properly came out, so there's never really any credits for the record. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's on Bandcamp now.
it is on Bandcamp, and I've listened to it many times.
But the thing that was so impressive, like I was at a lot of the sessions
Wow.
for that record, and Fat Jack always taught me stuff. Like that's the only, like I said, the only person, but yeah, he just taught me shit. He just like I felt like I was like a student.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
Nice. Yeah.
He'd be like,
Was an incredible
for
producer.
no, like I didn't ask, or he just thought he needed to tell me, and I really did need to know though.
Yeah.
And he would be like, look, when you record like Fender Rhodes, because I like Rhodes samples, and he likes Rhodes samples. So he just told me, he was like, look, when you do Rhodes, we gotta do it like this. You gotta record like 4 tracks of it. And I was like, 4?
What, to like quadruple up on it or something like that?
Like one, you take all the treble and the mid out. It's just the bass.
Right.
Then you got another one that you take all the bass out, and it's just like each one is its own frequency, and then you mix them together to make the sound.
Right.
The Nonce.
Yeah, that personifies that too.
That's how. So he taught me stuff that I was like, oh, that's how I want to hear the vibes, or the xylophone, or I want it like this. And he showed me these couple things, and that helped the push. Like it was like, oh, I see. Wait a minute. Let's go back. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back. Like, let me show you this treatment on the horns, and then once I showed like the engineer that I was working with how I wanted all of my shit to do.
Because you can apply that to everything in different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like every horn sample has at least 3 passes. Every vibe or Rhodes or has at least 3 pieces to make it up.
Yeah.
And that gives it that warm, even more than just the sound. It's weird. And
yeah, there's a certain like warmth, texture to it, density to it because of that. I mean, World Ultimate is like that. It's a lot of texture and there's a lot of warmth to it. I mean, a lot of those songs. Not to jump ahead because I'd love to talk about Harvest for the World, honestly. But like Keep On and Good to Go and 85, there's a lot of.
Let me just say one last thing about Harvest for the World.
Please, yeah.
All right. So we're at Ganja's house, right? And like the sessions are going, and this is like one of the first sessions, or one of the first, like first week. Okay. I don't think I ever told you this either. All right, look. There's a jar on the window, right? And you know how much ganja smokes, right? Or
Yes, I've heard.
Or just this guy's name. I mean,
This
like
is the guy that had the face mask with like the 10-foot bong.
But this is forever.
He doesn't conceal it. He pretty much says it in his name straight up.
Yeah, but this is forever. This is not like nothing new or trying to be fads or nothing. This is fucking Ganja K, right?
Before he was called Ganja K, he was just a weed head.
Yeah. Man, I don't know how I could fucking say this.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll come back to it.
So the jar. We'll remember this jar. Right?
Well, look, the jar was basically this. At the beginning of the album, recording.
Yeah.
The jar was already this filled with roaches.
Okay.
So the thing was to fill the jar, right? Like with these roaches, like to see if like if it was gonna fill up before the album was over.
Okay.
And it was just like it was just like weird. Like, look, I used to go. All right, this is not for the interview though. All
okay.
Right, we used to have a studio, right? And some days ganja be recorded in there, and like say I wouldn't have no bud that day or something. Where if I go to the studio, it's gonna be like a roach this big, like with like 5 of them. So it's gonna be like okay, I got one.
You gotta have a private stash around ganja.
No.
Nah, ganja's cool though. He like, man, let me just tell you, this is not for the interview.
Okay, should I pause it?
Yeah, you can pause it.
I can always cut. All right.
He had this bud that we call chokehold.
Okay.
And it's from Humboldt. It is the best bud in the world. I've been all over it. I've been to Amsterdam. I done bought this fucking hash. I done got every fucking thing. I was like, I want to go back home and go buy an eighth from ganja. I'm not playing. It's the kind that it crumbles all up, and it's just like, it's no stem, it's no seeds, it's just all crystals, and you fucking smoking, and you feel like you want to quit smoking. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you like, I don't need to smoke this shit no more. I don't know. Like, it's every time. That's,
That's good
and he would like, we have sessions, and he roll a blunt or roll a joint, and I remember I was in a session, and I was supposed to be dropping this beat, and he got me so fucking high. I was just staring at the sampler. I was just like, I was just staring at it. It was like, I knew I was supposed to push a button.
I knew I was supposed to do something.
I was supposed to do something, but I was just like, it just wouldn't go to. It was no matter what. I was like, that's it. I was like, session's
That's
over.
amazing.
Session's over.
I mean, considering that he made a really great album with, and still was able to smoke that much herb the whole time.
Yeah.
He smoked a whole pound of herb.
It was perfect. That whole concept and who he was or who he is.
Yeah, it was it was just a really classy way to do that concept, and it be very genuine and it didn't seem like it was contrived or corny. No. It was incredible production, and he just was himself. I just think it's such a great album. It's cool. I wondered, because I know that even in Mixtapes you mentioned Ganja K and iFresh too, and
during that whole time, I mean, as I kept getting aware of more people doing it on a certain level, that made me proud. You know what I'm saying? That I was aware that it was an era. I was in an era like. I remember having these sessions at my house, and like it'd be like ganja, AC alone, it'd be Mark the Murderer, it'd be like all these like super incredible freestyle MCs, like, and I would hear these rhymes that I'll be like, I can't believe, like it wasn't like to record, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I could have recorded it, but that wasn't the moment, you know what I'm saying? The moment was just them and us, and I would trip off of like how creative these dudes was. Like genius like level. Like I'll be, I'm just like still amazed. Like I'd probably never hear no shit like that, again. But
so how did he bring AC Alone into the fold for you? Because you would end up producing stuff for him too.
So it was like this. It was Mark the Murderer. He would go over to AC's a lot, and they would have like these ciphers, and it would be like basically, I think, Napalm, AC, Mark the Murderer, a few other people, whatever. It would be all at AC's house, and they just have these ciphers or whatever, and chill and smoke. And so he would be telling me about this shit, and I'll be like, I want to go. I want to go. That sounds like why I want to go. You know what I'm saying? So one day I was like, I'm jocking. I'm like, yo, let's go try to find AC or something, And he was like, all right, let me call them. So he called them, was like, come through. They having a session right now. So he took me over there. This is over in like kind of like West LA area. And I get over there and I meet, everybody who I hadn't met, and they all like just in the living room. It's like 10 dudes.
Really?
Just in a hot ass living room, bussing. Like
Rhymes.
giving it up. Like it was like walking into another like little realm that you would never know existed and shit. Because it doesn't really exist in this way anymore, right? Well, I can't truly say that.
Right.
I would say like for me, like I'm not witnessing it that way,
Sure.
but.
Right.
It definitely could be some pockets of places that are witnessing it, or somebody's got the fire and the shit's popping.
True.
I would like to think it.
Yeah, I would too.
It is. That's like a. That's like a. I don't know. It's like a thing. Like I never feel like it's done, or it's that's it. Like it's not gonna be like a lot of times I'll be disappointed, but sometimes I'm also super inspired, and I'm thinking it's like if not me, somebody's gonna say that beautiful thing or like make that just that one song that's just like it sums up all of this experience that we got, where it's like it happens. You know what I'm saying? I get it with like Kendrick Lamar, and that's really about it.
Yeah, it's kind of few and far between, but it does exist.
Not say that that's it. I'm talking about on a level.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I understand. I agree.
On a level that's like higher.
Right.
Like being exposed to more people. That's you want to hear that creativity. Or that thing, that genius, what I'm saying?
Right.
It happens like I don't know, that shit is it's like all like red flowers and like one like purple one, what I'm saying?
Right,
it's like
right.
that's what it's like. It's like it's gonna be there, hopefully it'll be there, like, and they recognize the one and like, or the ones, and let them, shine some, because that's the shit that gets me going. Because I feel like I have something. It's not like a 100%. It's like, what could be 100%, but it's like a thing that, like a few things that come through me. Some things are me, like me, my ego, me making it.
Right.
And then
sure.
some things are not that. They're like beyond me. They're not me. It came through me and I said it, but I didn't make that. Like, I can't make that. I don't know how to make that.
Right.
I don't know how I put that together like that. I don't remember putting that together like that.
Yeah.
Like things.
That, like, when you say that, as far as when I start thinking about your work too, that really reminds me of, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but is the 7 Days to Engineer record is like where it's kind of this very unassuming project at the time, but it has a lot of this like really just free form like style.
Those are all, they came through me.
Right.
That's what I call it. So I think if you take a lot of my music and you listen to it, you can like separate it from off the albums into different groups of kind of songs. That the ones that are through me, they're like prolific and they're like poetical and they're unique. They're like, and they have a energy underneath them. So besides what I'm talking about, it's also what I was thinking about, and that also gets recorded in the song. So these songs have extra stuff in them that I can't really say what it is, because it's just extra stuff. And the reason, not say the reason, but I know this to be true because I did an experiment
Okay, what was that?
I did a song called Life Gives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it well. I love that song.
And my partner had passed away, and I was pretty much done with hip-hop. Or, not say hip-hop, I was done with recording.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was cool. And Omid hit me up and was like, I want you to get on the song, do the song. And I'm like, you know, it's like waking somebody up from a deep sleep that kind of don't want to get woke up, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to write this shit like I feel. I wrote it, and I was like, I'm not even going to read this shit. I'm going to know it. Like, you know, like, I'm not doing it no way like I usually do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to know it. And then I was like, yeah, I know it. And now, like, I feel it. And then when I started feeling it, I started thinking the images of the whole thing. And then when I recorded the vocals, I made sure I thought of all of these images that I wanted to think about my partner. And how I missed them, and, you know, just all that shit in the song. The song comes out. No big whoop. But a couple years later, you know, I'm still doing shows. Somebody comes to me. Can I talk to you? Yeah. Hey, man, that song saved my life. I'm like, what? Like, oh, man, I put that song on. It just made me feel better. What? I'm like, what? All kind of weird things.
Right.
Like, this one guy, he passed away, and his friend came to, you know, get all the stuff, you know?
Uh-huh.
And he was like, I wonder what the last thing he was listening to was.
Really?
Life Gives.
Wow.
And then he calls me, he finds me, and it's like, tells me the story and shit. I'm like, and he like, I just had to find out who you was, because you the last thing that my best friend listened to. And I'm like, damn, you know, just all kind of shit. It's like all from this one song, you know, like, and it was all because the things I pictured while I was rhyming. And so it's not easy to do this, because most time people just drop it right when they make it, because the style is more pliable. Right when you make it, you can fuck around with it. You can, you know, you're not set in the way. You can be like, I'm trying like this, I'm like this, and then sometimes you get a cool flow, and you're like, that's it, I'm done. Then sometimes you take time. Sometimes you know, all kind of different ways you could do it, but most time it's quick. And when you do it so quick, you don't do the extra thinking in it.
Right, because I mean, a great deal of time had gone by since the side of things, really. I mean, and even 7 Days to Engineer, you know, since Life Gives, because it's like that was definitely in the early 2000s, because I remember that, and the great album that was a part of Suckers Hate Me, right?
Yeah. Well, I felt like.
So what was going on with you, like, during that period of time? Obviously, writing that is a difficult task too. So
I was totally getting knowledge. I was like, I was dealing with global flotations. For some reason, I mean, it was just a time. Besides, you know, being over at global flotations, and myself and people I was around, was like, I don't know, I wanted to like read, and you know, like people were like bringing like all these like weird ass movies. I won't say weird ass. I'm gonna just say like deep, different kind of movies that are not like movies that you see in the theaters like now. Yeah. You know, different things that change the way you think, and you know, there's a lot of that going on, and a lot of just books and interesting things, and you know, all culminated in that changed how I could write or how I could think of things or, you know, access that. And it was different. So, you know, after like World Ultimate, that was the end of my like childhood. You know, like that was like me about to turn 21. I ain't turned 21 yet. Like I was still a kid. Like
when you made that,
yeah, you know, like my thinking was still a kid. My rhyme, my subject matter, it was. I hadn't read many books at that time or anything, nothing. Just, you know, I just had a, you know, a love for rap, and you know, I had some kind of understandings of things where I could, you know, make that creative, but that's all I was working with. I wasn't.
Yeah, and I guess you can hear that thinking back, but there's also like a pretty deep soulfulness in the actual song structure and the you know, even the sense of production and the direction with the production, and there's something for me personally that it feels very timeless. That particular record,
it was because we believed we knew what we was doing.
Yeah,
we believed in what.
There's definitely a confidence there.
That's what it was. We grew up listening to K-Day and being young enough to had not been doing it, to start doing it, to like really admiring some people doing it, to feeling like we surpassed them. Not saying that we did, but we felt like that. So all of that made the soup. You know what I'm saying? Right. It made the motivation. Like we always, you know, would, you know, somehow be comparing it to what we thought was the best.
Right. Were you? Did you guys do much shows during that period of time? Did you tour? Or shows in LA at least? Yeah.
We did some shows. Like our first show, I think, was at the Mayan
Theater.
Yeah, and it was.
Did you do a Unity? Was this Unity or?
No, it wasn't Unity. I don't believe it was. No, I think it was some industries like
showcase.
Like, yeah, because we performed with Onyx and Bus Full of Pakistan.
Wow.
I like Bus.
Yes. Oh yeah, that was the song. Bus Full of Pakistan was the song. Oh
yeah.
You also Suba was the group. Yeah. That's a trip. That's a trippy bill.
So, you know, it was dope. Like, well, we did so many shows, man. We like, okay, after that, we did go like on like several little state tours.
Okay.
And like, you know, we performed with Far Side, The Roots, Biggie Smalls.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where was the Biggie show at?
Cal State Northridge.
Wow.
Club Flex. A couple other ones. Like we did a couple other shows, whatever. I can't fucking believe it. I didn't just like pull it to the side and be like, we need to work. You know what I'm saying?
It would have been pretty interesting to hear the two of you guys collaborate. I mean, yeah.
That would have been so fucking... I was tripping, dude. Like, you know, like sometimes you just feel like egos and different shit. I mean, like, we didn't have no beef or nothing like that, but it just saw me thinking clearly sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, looking back, you're like, yeah, if only...
Yeah. But, like, I remember, there's a documentary with Biggie Smalls. Like I got the song called Humble. I know some other people got a song called Humble too, but you know I have my song called Humble.
Okay.
And the footage is in the documentary, the Biggie Smalls Tupac documentary.
Biggie and Tupac.
Oh, yeah. Biggie and Tupac, the Nick Broomfield one.
So
yes.
when they cut to the scene when he's rocking on the stage, he's like rocking, and then the camera just go to me.
Really?
Then it's like me. And it's like me going like this, like wow. Just going crazy.
Video camera, you're like looking at filming Biggie.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's amazing.
It's so like in the Humble song, I say like at the beginning of the Biggie movie is me. Like you don't see I'm being everything but humble, but being like cool with it. But I'm clowning that.
Yeah.
I'm in the Biggie Tupac movie, like you know. Well, this all
check
kind
me out in the background.
It's all kind of other little things I could tell y'all too that we've like things together that nobody knows. We did like Bus Stops video.
Yeah, Bus Stops music video.
All right.
AC Alone's in that song, yes.
Okay, so but check out the girls that's in the video.
Okay.
And then there's a certain song by, like, I think it's the Dog Pound with Nate Dogg. I see the same every other video.
Okay.
Well, the girls that they're singing about are the girls that's in Bus Stop's video and in their video. So you could see, like, the thought process was like, oh, they in that video and they in our video.
That's so funny.
And I knew it has to be about that because that's too cool. Like, okay, so they got a song like that, and we use the same girls,
Right.
so anyway.
And it's of the era too it's the music video era when you would see a Nonce video and then you'd see Dog Pound afterwards, and people would share that space, and there was a little less discrimination between subgenres of hip hop too and stuff in a way.
And then, like, this might just be conceited of me. I'm sure it is. I'm sure this is probably nothing, but all right. So we did all of these shows with Biggie, like at the Cal State Northridge and different clubs, whatever. And then I think it was like an Escape remix or something like that, I think. And he say something like and to the fools in the West or something, and he like throw up the W, and I was like, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like he was talking.
That was meant for you. That was specifically for you.
I was like, that was for me. That fucked me up for like a year. You know what I'm saying? just secretly, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? It just be like that. Little things, little little things like get you hyped. That shit get you through the day sometimes. You like, fuck it. I got, you know what I'm saying? I got that. Man, we didn't even fucking really, I don't even think we met fucking Rick Rubin on fucking American.
I do have a question too, as far as getting that whole getting signed to that label in particular. How much did Jay Sumbi play a role in that too? Because it's sort of like Mixtapes was like a big starting point, but was he was playing that record at a party and the A&R?
It was like a poetry jam or something like that.
Okay.
That he would play, and he would DJ it. And, he had the style like, whatever record he's playing, he flips the cover, or he flips it in front of the turntable. So
right.
like he walk up, you could see what it is or whatever. And he had a 12-inch, and he was constantly playing it. And I think it was Dan Sharness, came and was like, like, what's that about? And he gave him my contact, and from there it was like, contact to Wild West, and it was like that fast. It was like fast. It was like within 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Wow.
With fast.
Off the strength of hearing it in just at a little jam, right? Yeah.
Whatever he saw, big. Right. He saw the picture, and that was dope. I always liked that. Dan Sharness was dope. As far as like seeing what we do, and him pushing it through every kind of media.
Yeah,
that was new. I say new, but I saw it like being put down a certain kind of way. Like, oh, that's how you do it.
Sure. I mean, you were entered into like the media fully embraced it too. I mean, those music videos were I think a huge way that like people across the country or even across the world really found out about you. I mean, Mixtapes and Bus Stops too. I mean, were
the guy
pivotal.
The guy that filmed Mixtapes for us, he also did Bonita Applebaum.
You did what?
Bonita Applebaum.
Really? Oh wow, the director did both.
Yeah, and he made a movie after that. He made Drumline.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah, very interesting, right?
Yeah. Well, the Bus Stops video is great as far as like a kind of classic, like it's a simple shot, but it's framed very well. It's photographed really well.
I like that video actually. I had so much fun doing that video. Really. All right, quick story. The bus for the Bus Stops video is the same bus from Speed.
Is it?
It's that bus. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like little things, it doesn't mean nothing, but yeah, we was on the Speed bus. You know what I'm saying? We was on the Speed bus. We had the Jazzy Fat Nasties on the bus with us, you know what I'm saying? And like it was just me and Yusef and a bus full of girls, and we rolled all the way. No, it wasn't just us. I think LA Cool was with us, and it might have been like one other person. I think Mark the Murderer maybe, and it was just like the rest of the girls from Bus Stops video. She was dope. It was kind of. I never like at that time. That's how you see like, oh, this little stuff is changing. It's like we did a thing where it's like they have the pictures for the girls in the video, and it's like the clothes that they're gonna wear, but there's no girls in there. It's just the clothes, and it's like you go like that, her. it was like,
really, you had that much to say in it.
It was so chauvinistic, bro. It was like damn. I was like, it was like just being introduced to how the shit go, and it was just like, oh,
that's Hollywood for you, right?
Yeah,
it was like Tinder, but sexual slavery.
Yeah, there you go. So we first it was like timid. It was like, okay. Then it was like, you know what? Her. Like, let me see. Bring her back. Wait, it just, I don't know. Right. It was really fun.
I'd love to know, before we kind of move a little bit into the current time, because you've done a lot of records like recently too. I mean, obviously, for a certain level, I'm kind of obsessed with World Ultimate just because I love that record. But right after that one came out too, well, I guess it was on Bus Stops too. But I'd love to know how you came about making, or what the process of making Who Falls Apart was, because that's also another really important song from the group. That's after the album, basically. It was like one of the.
Okay. What we used to do was we would have like beats, and these beats they were gonna possibly be a new record or something, or I mean, not say a record, but we didn't think of it really in that kind of terms. We just kind of thought of it like the tape. So this was gonna be on the tape. That's really how we thought about it. I'll write a rhyme, or Seth will write a rhyme, but sometimes I'll write the rhyme first, and then he does his take on it and writes, his thing or whatever. And the Who Falls Apart was basically like that. So like we had this beat tape, and I wrote this verse, and I'll be like, listen to this, and like the beat come on, and I just like bust it for him, and that's how we had our relationship. Like I bust it for him, and he'll be like, oh yeah, that's dope, like say it like that, like anywhere, like we have this other song called Open Up, and he do the same thing. He'd be like bust that for me, just bust it for me. I'll be like really, like you just want me to bust for you, like you just bust for me, like I'll bust it for him. And like I never even had heard his verse, for a long time. He had a verse, but
so he was using the inspiration from your verse to kind of inform his a little bit.
That would be a real conceited way to look at it. Not say conceited.
No,
but I would say
what I'm trying to say is too is that you guys had a great chemistry too. So obviously you guys would inform one another a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's like when I say it like the way I just described it, it seems that way. But man, Yusef was way beyond me. Way beyond me. Like, I ain't there where he was at. Like, he's way beyond me. Like, I admit it. Like some people is just, beyond you. Like, I mean, we all here, was here, but, we got different things,
sure.
And like, I would say like his shit is so different from my shit. Like no way. Like it was just him liking my shit. Like it wasn't like I influenced him or nothing like that.
Right,
like it like just from what I know, like that would be real like me rearranging facts of history,
Yeah,
that nobody could know. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I could say that. I could say, yeah, I was in Florida.
Well, you guys were bounced. I mean, you bounced off each other really well. I mean, you could admit that. You know?
Oh yeah. Like we knew what we knew together.
Right.
You know, like that. Like we had a knowledge of shit together. Like where anything in hip hop, we knew it. I mean, up to a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
What we basically was exposed to the same amount of stuff and the same records and radio and LA.
Yeah.
You know, like those kind of things. And I don't know. I think I was like I don't know. I was a weird little kid, man. I found some tapes, like cassettes of me telling jokes and singing songs and bagging on people and shit. Like totally just bagging on people. Like I was obnoxious. Like, oh, and I was recording it too. So I'm like, you know. Like I had a certain type of personality, and like you know, he had a certain type of personality.
Yeah,
and we made a really good combination. Somehow, I don't know what the combination really. It was more than like it was like a lot of things. Like just so much. Some people described it like fire and water, and you know, like them kind of terms. And the best description I can give is it was like the mind versus the brain. That's what it was. That's like because you know it was becoming something. It was like it started off like this, like we was like, you know, super young. You know, like we were like 15 and 16 when we started working together, and so our shit was like about girls, and you know, like fucking, and without saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the frame of reference is only so big. Right?
Yeah, that's and then Yusuf like took off. Where I don't know how he took off, but I was still me, so it was frustrating because I was like, he would bust a verse, I'll be like, like wait, what? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't know. I had never experienced it. I would only see it like in other aspects, like people change. You know, like so, like I witnessed, like. He was already dope, witnessed him change, but I didn't change until like late. But it was a change, you know what I'm saying? It was like it's a difference, you know, like maybe like the perspective, how you write stuff, you know, what you write about. Not everything, you know what I'm saying? It's not like no saint type of gospel or you know,
sure,
but certain, you know, things you get across or don't go, you know, whatever.
Right. How did you, or when did you hook up with OD, with Omid? Because we, you know, that's how I met you a long time ago with him. And you guys, like, you would do a great album with him too, the two of you guys, right?
Yeah. I believe I met Omid with Zagu and my other partners in Global Flotations.
Because he comes out of the Project Low world, you know,
yeah.
And helped. Really, I think, you know, he was very instrumental in getting those tapes out too. You know.
Yeah. Like he has a really dope style too. Like several actually styles.
Yeah, for sure.
That I'll say he holds down. But I think I met him doing the time before Beneath the Surface, and it was a Global Flotation song. We went to record it at Loyola.
Okay.
And that's where I recorded the same studios where I recorded Life Gives as well. So like that was like, you know, like the beginning of the relationship was like that. And it would be like, you know, we would talk or whatever, and I'll be like you making some beats? Okay, let me hear some. And then maybe like, I got this, and you're like, I got that, and I got this, and like play it. And like, so what I would do is I'll go, okay, I want that sequence, and then I want that one, and then I want you to put that one, and then he's swift with it. So some people not swift with it. They can do it, they get it done, but they're not swift with it. So he's swift with it. So he's like, oh, like this? Next thing I know, we listening to it just the way like I pictured what I just heard. He just rearranged it real fast.
Yeah,
like,
he's a great producer.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write to that right now. And I'm like writing like incredible shit, like stupid, like. And we just knocked out the album. I don't even know how long it took, but it was, man. That I don't even know when. Like I don't remember really sitting with it, like writing. I don't know. It was like you just had it. Sach with that, just like every session till we was done. Like bam.
Nice.
And every beat was like the best, and then he took the time to, you know, separate everything, like clean it up. When we took it to get it mastered, dude was like, I don't have to, you know, like clean it up. It's already lined. Like it was like, I mean, like literally, he was like proud of the project, like how it was. He was like, oh, I'm about to get into it right now, because he didn't have to do what he usually had to do because of Omi's technique.
Right.
So I always appreciate that. But you know, we did that. And, he made like several instrumental records. You know, I always joke with him and ask him if he's gonna do like another compilation, concept record. And you know, like right now he does like sets like using the cassettes. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. So he's playing them live?
Yeah.
Nice.
And this whole mix, and then he's got this, I don't know, some kind of trigger, Omni something. I don't know what it is.
I know he's a crazy collection, that's for sure. His Persian stuff and stuff from Iran is amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
And his archive stuff, he got like a lot of hip hop stuff like that. He
was instrumental in getting spreading Project Blow from CVE to Hip Hop Clan and Fellowship and on, you know, across the world, because he was infamous, like in hitting cats off with tapes.
Yeah.
You know, in a good way. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many sessions with Omi. That's my brother, man. We did a lot of like recording and creative building. You know what I'm saying? Like we have sessions, and I just love coming to his house and like don't trip, but oh man, his mom would make this rice, bro. She would make this rice. We having a session, right? But it's like, I'm gonna just make this time up, right? It's 3:30 on the dot, right? And it's like lunchtime. It's like a salad. It's like, it was just great. It was too nice, you know. It was so nice. It was so nice, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
It's like
It's hilarious.
Oh man, I really did dig that though, man. But we did like
he's a really nice guy, nice human being, great guy. Yeah.
And okay, this is what we did. All right, so we made a lot of music together, but we read books.
Really?
That's what we did.
What kind of stuff were you guys reading?
All right, we read Hyperion by Dan Simmons. So we read that. It's like 4 books. But we read it like, you know, like I had my copy, I had his copy, or yeah, one. We had the first one, and he read it. He gave me that one, and I was like, oh, I gotta go get it, Then we was like reading them together and like just building on like, you know, I was the only person in life that I ever really built about books.
Dope.
You know, that we were reading them. What was, you know, our impressions. We had like the same kind of impressions.
Yeah.
You know. And so we read Hyperion, then we read Lord of the Rings, all of them.
Really?
Yeah, starting from The Hobbit, and it was just like what we was on.
Yeah, that's great.
Like,
that's cool.
And all kind of just different shit. And like to this day, that's all we build about. Like he giving me a list of books to go read and things to go watch, and you know that's like how it was in those days of like flotations. It was like just like how he's hitting me with that. It was like 10 people hitting me with that.
Yeah, yeah.
With different stuff, each one of them, and too much. It was like a lot. It was a lot, actually.
Well, that time seemed like too. It was like a bridge into like what you're doing today. Because in the last couple of years, you've been like really prolific as far as albums in the last few years, right? Like, there's been a lot of material, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of stuff. I mean, I have my pace, or like I guess it's a pace, but I just make it when I feel like making it, like, which is, you know, when I'm inspired, when I make a beat that I love or something, or,
right.
You know, just get a beat that I like. But what had happened was I've been recording, like, you know, just nonstop, like, you know, like since, you know, the Nonce.
Right.
And things were coming out slowly until like it wasn't nothing coming out, but I was still making these records, right? You know, it was just like nobody really heard them. I was just making them for myself, like, because I felt like I had an idea and I wanted to. And then I started like having like, you know, 3-4 records on deck, and about to make a 4th and 5th record, you know.
Really?
Like, yeah, because I mean, people go through shit, like they'll be like, oh, you know, I'll put out a record a year or every 2 years or some shit like that. I don't do it like that. I do it when it comes, and sometimes it comes 2-3 times a year. So I'm not gonna not make the record just because I made a record, you know, like,
right.
That's like psychological, where you fighting yourself or something, you know. So I just, you know, I make them, you know, like when they come, it's a different approach to make music. It doesn't give you like these hang-ups,
right.
Different things like that.
What's the story with Fidelity? Because you were breaking it down to me earlier, but I'm intrigued by it too, because it's more than just like, you know, a traditional album, right? So,
no, it is more. So I got away from recording the way that I had started out recording, which would be like, you know, 24 track, everything separated, to, you know, say, if, like I said, Fat Jack gave me the instruction to separate either like my rows or my vibes or things, like to like 4 tracks and take, you know, either the bass out, the mids, or the highs, and
right.
EQ it or whatever. I got away from all that stuff because I didn't really have the tracks available for what I was working on to do it. And then it'll be also like, it's just janky, like, you know, just get to the studio, I just got this beat on a CD, you know, so it's a stereo mix. It's like, it's not, you're not separating nothing on a stereo mix, but it sounds good enough to make a recording or to get it done, but, you know, it's not the way that I, you know it should sound like. The make it's gonna sound like when I, you know, you play it in your car, like, you know, really truly want to display it, you know. So that's, I came across a 24 track from Subtitle,
right.
you know.
Yep.
You know, we don't call them Subtitle no more. So you might only just take that whole part out.
Nah, it's all good.
But he blessed me with the 24 track, and I decided to. Well, I started making I had it sitting there, and I'm like, okay, it's just 24 tracks. Like I got 20,
Yeah, it's like you got a lot to work with.
Yeah, it's there, and it's all functioning. You know what I'm saying? It's working. It's everything's working. I'm like, okay, let me make a beat. Hack the MP on a beat. All right. What do I have to? The beat's it's like 8 tracks, maybe not that.
Right.
7 tracks. Okay. So it's like I got all these tracks. So I'm like, I'm gonna fill up all these tracks just on this one song, just to do it, just to said I had done it. Not say I did it, but I have this, so why not use it? So I went to the corner store and bought the pack of Easter eggs and put some rice in one and made a shaker. So now I got a shaker. So then I went and found the harmonica and found the melodica. I had a drum, a drum I got from Kiefer. What else did I have? A thumb piano. These are all the things that I had. I had. I was like, okay, I had I forgot what you call it. I don't know, the thing you rub a stick on it and it's got the grooves and it's like a percussive type.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a gourd with the grooves cut into it. Anyway, I had one of those. I think I had a ukulele.
So building out an arsenal of instruments.
I'm gonna use all this shit on this beat right now today.
Right.
So anyway, I recorded all of this stuff on there, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna write something to it. So I wrote a little piece to it, and I was like, oh wait a minute. I was like, nah. You know how in the back of your mind you see it, but you I don't know if it's gonna come. Sometimes it just give me one, and it's like one song, with the thing, and then sometimes the album come, or the group of songs come, and then that's what happened. So after the first song, second song, third song, they just came until I had all of it. But these were just the full lyrics and the skeleton of the beat with some of my the first beat had me doing a lot of stuff in it. But as I made the rest of it, I started picturing having stuff played on top and how I could take drums and enhance what I had, or even take live drums and put it sample them I'll sample a record or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
And that's where Kiefer came in, and we would have full recording sessions of just Kiefer playing the drums and me maybe directing some of the playing in a certain kind of way, or certain tracks. So we had a really good mic set up, and then he'll play kick, snare, and hi-hat. But then we'll do a track that's all rides and the cymbals and all this it's just a nice way of playing shit. And I'll be I don't know how we had a communication, but I'll be like this, and he'll be like this, and he'll play the shit, and I'll be I'll be perfect. So I'm talking in the back of all of the recordings and shit. When it's dope, it's fresh,
nice. Kind of conducting a little bit.
Just a little bit, but the recordings are really, really dope. And also ESP played a lot of percussion as well, and scratched on a few of the cuts, and it was an incredible recording session. And it at first couldn't get nobody to come play. It would be dang, a week passed by, 2 weeks passed by. I'm on Facebook. I'm hey, we're recording this record, guys. What's up, everybody? I don't know. I was whatever. Then people were supposed to come through, never come through.
Right.
All that kind of shit.
I know it.
And I'm pretty patient, but at that time I was done. I was really done. I was like, I want to hear it. I can. And then I was like, I didn't call. It's a trip. So I called him. He was like, "Oh, I'll come play. When? Give me the directions." Subi, oh yeah, that's right. Subi plays bass. Subi. When I need to be there. That's it. Like when I need to be there. When I need to be there.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, so we had 2 sessions with Anacron and one with Sumi. But Sumi was there with Anacron one time. Yeah. So it was like an incredible session.
And ESP was in there.
So it's like an ensemble of people, right?
Yeah. So it's like now you got like the beat, like so it'll be like this. It'll be like the beat that I made using sampling Kiefer playing the drums, then Kiefer playing some of the percussion on top of the beat that I made out of his own beat. Then Sumi playing the bass, and then Anacron playing the sax.
Nice.
And like some of my samples and all that, just to make the beat sound like. Then, so we finally get all this stuff done, and like I thought I was bad, I have my mix and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like I got everything panned over here, over there, like I'm like,
Right.
No effects though. I was like, I don't really, not saying I don't care for effects, but sometimes just it being like dry with like the right sounds, it sounds like better, like not better, but just just want people to hear.
Yeah.
It sounded good. So first we I released this with Hit and Run, and we did the vinyl, which was like a blue and white swirl. After we did the vinyl, and then we did the cassette. Then we dropped the instrumental of the album on cassette.
Right.
Then came back and we sold out of the blue white swirl. We came back with the black wax, the regular black wax of the 10-inch. Then took the outtake music, or the extra music that we had recorded for Fidelity that I had just sitting in the virtual tracks or sitting on tracks we didn't use. I made some new beats out of that stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And that's considered the suite.
Cool.
So we released that as a cassette by itself. And then we made a box set of the 3 cassettes. So you get the album, the instrumental, and the suites, the pen, stickers,
right.
the box, The CD, you get the album, the instrumental, the suite, and live performance. And then, the vinyl is just the vinyl as it can be with the blue. Like if you got one of the blue white swirl ones, you probably feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah,
but
I know that I am.
That's all besides the point of the actual beautiful music that I have on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not just saying that only like just because I got a record and shit, but it like this, all this goes with it. It just got, like when you hear it, it just does. And there's even more stuff like I'm influenced by like Columbia Records and Miles Davis, all that.
Right. And
some of those box sets are incredible, and some of the information that's collected in some of those dates, just to know some of that stuff that happened.
Absolutely.
It's just cool. So
that's kind of why I do the podcast too. It's to capture some of those stories too that aren't usually told, or that might be forgotten, like in a print magazine somewhere that's long lost. Yeah, I love that too. I mean, I'm just first. I mean, let it be known, I'm just appreciative that we were able to connect too and do this conversation.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I remember that, man. I remember sitting in the theater watching. Let me see. That was the first time I saw What's Up, Fat Lip.
So, oh, nice. Yeah.
So maybe everybody else had already, like, I already seen, like, Hellbent, was it Doom song?
Dead Bent?
Dead Bent.
Yeah. So you're talking about, when I did the Culturama, we did it at the Lemley Theater on Fairfax, back in the day.
So the What's Up Fat Lip was the first time I seen that, and it was on the big screen too. I was like, that's tough. It was like the whole night was fresh, man. Like, damn,
that was fun, man. I'm glad that you came through.
Yeah, man. You know what? I often think that there should be a video show. There's not one no more.
I know. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like,
I know.
It always one comes out every like 5-6 years, and it'd be on the underground, and it does good. Then it gets took over by and then just disappears. Like,
it gets absorbed and then disappears. Yeah. I know. I love music videos. I'm a sucker for that shit. I've always been. So with the Culturama stuff, I always wanted to. My only intention was that other people can enjoy stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see. And this was
White Girls,
before.
You see that video?
Yeah, White Girls. Yes.
Oh man, on the big screen, dude.
Mighty Casey. Yeah.
We watched this on the big, on the 35 millimeter big.
Right. And that theater is closed now too, amazingly too. So, it was a classic period of time. I toured with it too for a while, and in different movie theaters. This is all like pre-YouTube too, so it's like you couldn't find them. I mean, they were videos that were meant for cable access shows, because it was that dead space after post MTV and music video shows on cable. That's why especially those videos from the Nonce album, you guys got such a great advantage because you never know who the hell saw those videos all over the country. Little ass towns and big major metropolitan areas, were exposed to that, and that's why you would do shows with Biggie, and like you would do a show with You Also Stupid and Onyx, just these really random mashups of stuff, because that was just, everything was the flavor of what people listened to. So
they never really, well, I don't know, that sounds like really kind of shitty too, but I mean, maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Maybe I should find another way to say it. But it's like they didn't ever, like, it seemed like the labels and stuff didn't ever really get behind us in a certain kind of way.
Well, of course not. No, I mean,
like they just coulda. They just coulda. It would have just been so, like, to get like we got a big push with like American,
right?
But before, like the real serious push could push, like all the shit just fell apart. But like, man, like, just, it was always a fight, like always people people like literally say this shit, like we want you to sound like this, we want to sing. We used to play so many mind games, so many mind games, that we were like, oh, these people are stupid. Like somehow they're in this position, but they don't really know. They want to know, or they seem like they want to talk like they know, but they don't know, because like same way like I did the experiment with putting the thoughts with the music. We used to tell them like that's what they heard, like what they asked for is what they got.
Right.
It was like, yeah. It was like, ego kind of shit. Like, like they be like, we want to sound like Outkast and something.
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, any asshole A&R that happens to get a job, like at a label, that's what they're there for, is just to like blurt their weird ideas at you too. And I mean, you just happen to be the artist that's there too, and you guys have this. It's such a weird kind of tension between the two. Yeah, but thankfully, thank God, at least we have, there is a World Ultimate, which is like, to me, it's no different than like an Illmatic, and it's in that realm, of like just a well-made album,
Thank you.
Thank you for making it, and thank you, and Yusuf, it's like you guys contributed something very important, I think, to the genre that shouldn't get slept on. So.
Well, by the time when we made World Ultimate, we had a pretty good like image of what we thought it should sound like what stuff should sound like. So, and we had like this strange way of communicating that was something, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called something. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it, but it's like, okay, so some people can hear like colors. They hear like sound with color, and certain sounds generate a color to them, like the way it tastes. Like you taste a certain thing, and it tastes like a certain thing in your mind. Well, we used to have like a certain way we could talk about like breaks and sounds and stuff, and things had a certain color, and I could express certain, and I'd be like, and the beat sound like this color, and we had a certain way that we would just, we could just talk to each other like that, and that's how we made like a lot of the music, like the pieces and stuff are made like that. And then we had certain, I won't call it rules, but certain things, like certain things are recorded a certain way, and certain things we do a certain thing too. And that was like what, like the Nonce sound was, you know what I'm saying? Like that thing was. And it's like basically what we did was like strings, vibes, roads. Those things are multi-tracked, and there's a certain effect that we would put on it that we kind of made or whatever. And then like horns, always panning right and left at a tempo to the beat. That was like one of the other things that we used to always like do, is like one of our little things that we consider like, that's like, you can hear that shit, like I'll point that out in a beat or something. You can hear it, like, but those were little things that made up our sound or whatever, in a certain way that like we approach like having the drum sound, and then also working with the same engineer over a period of time helped too, because his ear became our ear, and our ear and his ear, like we were all like together. Like at certain points you gotta kind of, like, the engineer don't always know, like he know how to slide that fader, but he don't know if that beat right, you don't know if you kick that verse right, you know what I'm saying, you don't know. So unless the motherfucker dope, you gotta train them or teach them, or they gotta get it, you know what I'm saying, and they only get it through time, like over a period of time. And we had that Sean Freehill, and I was our engineer for like almost 2 years, and we recorded a lot of stuff. He recorded a lot of other our peers too, like Voodoo and Razzcast, South Central Cartel. There was a lot of people. We used to record at Kitchen Sink. Kitchen Sink was like incredible. We used to love recording there. It's like this house. Like it looked like a house on the outside, but it was like a pure studio on the inside. It was cool, and it had like all this like history. You know what I'm saying? So we recorded like World Ultimate there.
Oh, amazing. Well, man, listen, I appreciate your time and you coming here tonight, just doing a little late night tip too, and it's great. It's great to reconnect with you and just talk about your music. So, beyond Fidelity, what's the next thing for you?
I got like another group called named Science.
Okay.
And we got a project that we're gonna be releasing soon called When You Get Here. We got a label too called Bump Hemp, and it's a really creative label. Like my influences for labels, are highly creative, like such as like Hit and Run, who I released like, my last couple records with.
Right.
And that's the kind of, creative force that, you know, like I want to be, like, you know, through all the many different projects and, you know, avenues that I'm going to be taking, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not in no kind of box or nothing, so, you know, nobody just expect me to just make records, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make plenty of records, I'm going to make movies, I'm going to make all kind of stuff, you know, like different aspects of those things, you know. Like, you know, I've done a couple scores for podcasts and just different things that, you know, like I want to take to a higher level, and also there's, you know, it hasn't been done yet, you know, like the thing, whatever the thing is, you know what I'm saying, and all of the genres is still room to to do something incredible if it comes through to you or if it comes your way, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm always positive on everybody doing what they would like to do and, you know, whatever level they're trying to achieve. That's all. You know, everybody stay positive. You know, don't hate on nobody.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much. Yo, thank you to Sach for taking his time, to Kiefer for rolling, and my man Brandon for letting us do the interview at his house. You may have heard him in the background. What a great conversation. Check it. I'm going to end this episode with a little snippet from Sach's most recent record called Fidelity, which came out on Hit and Run. This is called Theme Fidelity. So peep this out. It's on that same wavelength and vibe as the Nonce. If you haven't been peeping some of Sach's solo stuff or only know the Nonce from their debut album, go back and check some of those records out. There's a lot of great material that he has put out over the years as a soloist. Of course, rest in peace to Yusef Afloat. And thank you guys so much for listening to The House List. Please subscribe if you like this. Go back and check out some of the older episodes. We got some really great ones and got many other amazing conversations to come. Tell your friends about it. If you're on Twitter, just let people know. I'm at HouselessPod, but just do it on some word of mouth shit. You know, just if you're at a party or at a club or a jam and you see a friend of yours that you know would be into stuff like this, just show them. Look, it's the Houseless with Peter Agassi, the guy that used to do Culturama. You know what I'm saying? The guy that had Female Fun Records that in September of 2017 will be releasing a Prince Paul record called Instrumental as a re-release. Stuff like that. I do it for the culture, I do it for the cause, and I want you guys to enjoy it. It's all for free. It's a labor of love. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and definitely check out Sach's radio show Saturday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific time on 2mexhologram.com. There's an app. You can tune in. LA to the Bay Radio with D-Ski, DJ Roach, and Sach. And yes, there's many other things to come. I know he's got some projects on deck. So when those come up, I will definitely promote them here on the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will catch you